What's going on, guys? This is Jeff for Premium Aquatics, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Your Choice Aquatics wave pump. What's going on, guys? We're back with another video, and if you're new to what we're doing here, this is where we take a look at new products each and every week to help you make an informed decision whether or not that product is right for you, your reef tank, and your budget. And we got a new one for you today. We're going to be taking a look at the Your Choice Aquatics Eco Wave Aquarium Wave Pump. So that's enough out of this intro. Let's jump into it. All right, folks. So we have the Your Choice Aquatics Eco Wave Aquarium Wave Pump, and we have it in a number of different sizes. We have the EW10, the EW25, and the big boy, the EW40. Now, some of the specs on this pump are as follows. The EW10, the power usage is going to be 10 watts. It's going to move 4,000 liters per hour, which is going to equal 1,056 gallons per hour. The EW25 is going to use 23 watts. It's going to move 8,000 liters per hour, which is going to equal 2,112 gallons per hour. And then the big dog, the EW40, is going to use 40 watts. It's going to move 13,000 liters per hour, which is going to equal 3,432 gallons per hour. Now, what this is going to offer you is controllability on a number of different size tanks. Your EW10 is going to be best suited for those nano tanks. The 25 is going to be suited for those larger end nano tanks upwards to those medium sized tanks. And the powerhouse, the EW40, is going to be for those larger aquariums. So let's move these two guys out of the way. We're going to open them all. Actually, let's start with the EW10, so we can do a size comparison of these guys. Alright, so that's a good size nano tank power head. You have some directional flow that you can work with. Wow, that's interesting. This is the first time I got to take a look at these guys. You can literally right angle that. That is really interesting. I like that quite a bit, actually. You could have that in the bottom corner of a tank and have the cord go up the back and blow all that detritus out the bottom of a tank. That's really, really interesting. I like that feature quite a bit. Quite a bit of range, obviously, on the upward, because it's where the cable goes into the power head. You lose a little bit of direction that way, but that thing, very smooth, doesn't feel cheap. You have a good amount of power cord there. Then you have the controller. It looks like it comes with some padding. It has a dial on it. That's interesting. Have to take a look at our instruction manual for that. And then your power brick. So let's take a look at the EW25. This is the one that uses 23 watts of power. That's a good size pump right there. Again, you have the ability to completely turn that sideways. But you do lose a little bit of angle with that power cord being right there. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even realize that. It has rubber connections to the pump itself, so the magnet, which will be touching the glass, has a little bit of shock vibration to it with those those rubber attachments, so it's going to be able to absorb that vibration. Then on the magnet itself, it does have a little bit of padding. Strong magnet, but not too strong. There's a good amount of vibration protection on it, so that's good. And you have your controller, just like the EW10, and your power brick. So you have the EW10, EW25. Let's take a look at the W40. This does feel substantially heavier than the other two. Controller. And at this point, you need a power brick for the amount of power that guy is going to draw. That's a pretty big power head. Big power cord. Much bigger. You actually even have a better angle. You can, it almost inverts on itself at that point. And actually, because it's larger, it goes up a little bit. Let's say if you had it installed like that in your tank, you get a little bit further going up than you do with the 25. You still have the shock absorbing attachments. You can literally see it compress on itself. That's interesting. Magnet feels a lot stronger. I was almost worried. Yeah, having a hard time getting that off there. It still has the rubber on it, so that's good. Oh, I just ripped that right off. That's how strong the magnet is. Alright, gotta fix that now. Alright, so let that be a public service announcement of attaching that magnet and then just pulling it off, because you can pull those rubber attachments right out of the base. So it's something that you want to make sure that you're careful of when you are handling the pumps. Alright, so a couple of interesting features about the Eco Wave from Your Choice Aquatics. It has a one-button feed mode on the controller, so you hit it and it's able to stop the pump or slow it down considerably for 10 minutes. And it's going to consume different level of power due to the settings. So if you have it completely maxed out, it's going to be the max power consumption for that pump. And if you have it turned down just a little bit, it's going to consume less power, which is a benefit, especially if you are doing like a pulse mode or something like that. It's not going to use as much power, which can be a concern for some hobbyists. It has a link control function, which allows you to have a master controller and then be able to have slave controllers, so they're all going to operate in the same function. And basically you only have to use that one controller to be able to make adjustments to all of the other power heads. And like I already talked about, it does have a reverse automatic cleaning function that you can select on the controller. And what that's going to afford you to do is basically not need to clean it as often. So you won't have to take it out of the tank, put it in a bucket, scrub it down with a brush, possibly soak it with vinegar, and then let it dry, then rinse and all that stuff. You're going to be able to reduce the amount of cleaning that you're going to need to do with this power head. Alright, so right now we're going to take the EW40, put that in the tank and see how much it rips. I'm actually going to just take it and put it on the front of my aquarium and face it towards the back wall and see what kind of trouble I can cause with this power head. Setting up the pump was extremely easy. All I did was place the pump in the tank and then gently bring the magnet to the glass and allowed the magnet and the pump to connect. Then plugged in the cord to the controller, and then the controller into the power brick, then the power brick into the outlet, and I had power to the pump. And when it first kicked on, I was a little overwhelmed really quick because it actually was sending water over the side of the aquarium. So I had to make an adjustment and tilt the head of the pump down a little bit. And that is a total of 24 inches from front to back on my tank. So that is definitely a very strong pump. All right, so now we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at the Your Choice Aquatics Eco Wave controller. And at first it takes a little bit of playing around with this to kind of figure out what exactly you're working with, but ultimately it is pretty easy to operate. You have a number of different modes, which we'll talk about those in a second. You have the ability to control the power. You have the ability to set this controller as the master or this controller as the slave, and then the N means it's an individual pump. You can put it in night mode, feed mode, and control the wave of the pump with this large dial here. At first I thought that this might have been for the power of the controller that it's delivering to the pump, but Ultimately, that's how fast, like if you have it in pulse mode, how fast the waves are coming. So we'll go over the different modes of the Your Choice Aquatics Eco Wave. M1 is constant mode, M2 is pulse mode or wave mode, M3 is advanced pulse mode, M5 is random mode, and M6 is self-cleaning mode. If you want to control the power that's going to your wave, you can increase it or decrease it with these two buttons here. If you hold this button, it will go into feed mode. But if you just press it, it will go up. As you can see, the lights up here, which that is at 100% right now, which is a little bit too much for the tank with the 40. So you can bring it down with the down button as long as you tap it. If you hold that, it's going to go into M6 mode, which is self-cleaning. And really all it's doing for the self-cleaning mode is reverse flow. So it's, instead of pushing the water, it's pulling the water from the power head, and that will run its course, and then once it's done, it's ready to be operated again. To switch from master, slave, and independent, all this button right here to the side, just clip that and it'll go through all of the different options. If you hold down on the button, it's going to lock your settings, and over here, this is how you would put it in. You would change the mode by tapping it. You can see the lights changing there. Right now it's in constant, and we're in pulse, advanced pulse. If you hold down on that, it's going to go into night mode. I really like the pulse mode or wave mode, and turning that up a little bit. And then you can kind of, with the dial, you can kind of adjust how fast you want the waves. And you can really, I have some hammers in the tank, and I could really kind of just dial it in, so I got that nice little wave movement. And this was just throwing the 40 in the tank and sticking it literally to the front of the tank and having it hit the back wall. It was moving water throughout the entire tank, which I have a 220 gallon tank. So I'm very impressed with this little pump. Definitely budget friendly pump that is very quiet. I was impressed with how quiet it is. It can move some serious water, and I think it's a pump that can serve all level of hobbyists. Alright folks, that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you for joining me. If you want to check out any of the Eco Waves, there are going to be some links down in the description below that are going to bring you to Premium Aquatics, where you can do some more research or even pick one up for yourself. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time right here with a brand new product.